everybody. Let's get started. It's 10 o'clock. गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतान् शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम्। ॐ प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामविद्यवत्। ॐ गणेशाय नमः। ॐ सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। वागीशाद्या सुमनसः सर्वार्थानामुपक्रमे यं नत्वा कृतकृत्या स्युः तं नमामि गजाननम्। वक्रतुंड महाकाय कोटिसूर्य समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम्। एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्य केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं यस्य सन्निधि मात्रेण सर्वे शिष्याश्च सेवकाः कर्मक्षेत्रे प्रवर्तन्ते चिन्मयं तं नमाम्यहम् चिन्मयं तं नमाम्यहम्. Let us do the Pratasmaranam. Pratasmarami hridi samspuradatmatattvam Satchit sukham paramaham sagatim turiyam Yat swapna jagara sushuptam avaiti nityam Tad brahma nishkalamaham Nacha bhuta sangha Pratarbhajami manasa vachasamagамyam Vacho vibhanti nikila yadanugrahena Yanneti neti vachanaihi nigama vochuhu Tam deva deva majamachyutamahuраgyam Praternamami tamazah paramarkavarnam Purnam sanatana padam purushottamākhyam Yasmin nidam jagadasheshamasheshamurtau Rajvam bhujangamayiva pratibhasitam vai Rajvam bhujangamayiva pratibhasitam vai. Hari Om everybody. Welcome back to our weekly Vedanta classes. Let's do a quick recap. Let us chant the first 3 verses that we have completed. You can chant with me on mute. Vedo nityam adhiyatam taduditam karmasvanushtiyatam tene shasya vidhiyatam apachitihi kamye matistyajyatam papaughah paridhuyatam Bhavasukhe doshonusandhiyatam Atmecha vyavasiyatam Nijagruhat turnam vinirgamyatam Sangasatsu vidhiyatam Bhagavato Bhaktir drudha Shantyadif parichiyatam Drudhataram Karmashu santyajyatam Sadvidvanupasrupyatam Pratidinam Tatpaduka sevyatam Brahmaikaksharam Shrutishiror Vakyam Samakarnyatam Vakyartascha Vicharyatam Shrutishirah Pakshas Samashriyatam Dustarkat Suviramyatam Shrutimatas tarko nusandhiyatam Brahmasmiti vibhavyatam Aharahar garvah parityajyatam Dehe aham atirujyatam Buddha janair vadah parityajyatam Buddha janair vadah parityajyatam. Hari Om everybody. So far, we have covered up to 24 instructions that Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya ji has given. In the last class, we discussed that sadhaka has done the preparatory sadhanas and he has examined the world. Then Sadvidvan upasrupyatam, sadhaka approaches the guru. This phase in sadhaka's life is called Guru Upasatti or Guru Upasadana. In order to learn Atma Vidya, he approaches this Shrotriya Brahmanishta Guru. How? With Samit Pani, sacrificial firewood. Firewood representing symbolically the Seva Bhava. Seva Bhava of the student. Humility of the student. Then, Pratidinam Tatpaduka Sevyatam. We do the Seva of the Guru. Guru Paduka Seva. Or Guru Pada Seva if we are in the ashram. Because Guru is that visible guide. Guru Padukas, as I told you last week, represents the platform that the Guru stands on. Feet representing that he is firmly rooted in that knowledge. Brahmaikaksharam artyatam. Brahmaiva ekam aksharam artyatam. He begins to learn this Atma Vidya from the Guru. We learned that last week, that Om, the syllable, represents the essence of the Vedas. Akara, Ukara, Makara. That Omkara, that Pranava mantra, he learns to meditate on that Akshara Brahma. Shruti Shiror Vakyam Samakarnyatam. Shruti Shira, the head of the Vedas, meaning Vedanta. Those Upanishad Vakyas. There are many Mahavakyas, as I mentioned last week. Because of this Jiva Bhava, a sense of limitedness, a sense of finitude, parichinnatva. We have two problems or situations. Anatmani, Atma Buddhi, the notion that this Anatma is Atma. Jagati Satyatva Buddhi, the world and its objects are real and permanent. In short, identification with this Anatma, I have become the Kartru, the doer, Kartrutva, the enjoyer, Bhoktrutva, and slowly I have gotten sucked into this samsara. Because of this situation, I have all along settled down for momentary happiness outside. But through the Guru, through his seva, the sadhaka is doing Mahavakya Shravanam. Guru says, you are not that limited being. That is not you. You are the same consciousness principle that is everywhere, that is all pervading. So the essence of Vedanta, as I explained last week, is found in these great declarations of the Upanishads called Mahavakyas. They are numerous. They appear in different portions of the Vedas. We saw the story through Vichara, Mahavakya Vichara. The student, how he assimilates that Jiva Brahma Aikya, the oneness of that Jiva and Brahma. That consciousness is everywhere, in all beings. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. This is Shiro Vakyam Samakarnyatam. This is Vedanta Vakya Shravanam. Because that Shravanam will remove the Ajnana, ignorance, Ajnana Avarana Nivrutti. Then Vakyartascha Vicharyatam. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji is asking the sadhaka with this instruction to do mananam on the Mahavakyas. That Mahavakya Vichara. Reflect on these declarations. Let that sink in. What is the direct meaning of these statements? What is the Vachyartha? What is the Lakshyartha? What is the implied meaning of these statements? Tat pada vichara, tvam pada vichara, asipada vichara. How do I assimilate the differences between Jiva and Ishvara to arrive at that oneness? Proper mananam will remove the samshaya, doubt. And nididhyasanam will remove the erroneous notions or viparita bhavana. Then came Shruti Shira Paksha Samashriyatam. Now, having understood the meaning, sadhaka should have the ashraya buddhi. He should take refuge. He should take the rationale as outlined in the Vedanta Shastra, not fall prey to fallacious argument. Dustarkat suviramyatam. We need to avoid using false logic, fallacious logic. This is called as dustarka, kutarka, vittandavada. Arguing just for the sake of argument, no substance. Shruti matas tarko nusandhiyatam. Here, the advice is think logically with the support of the Shastras. That is Shruti Paksha Samashriyatam. Shruti Mata Tarkonu Sandhiyatam. See, Vedanta gives us so many ways to understand. We have discussed a lot of them in our classes. Shariratraya Viveka, Atma Anatma Viveka, Panchakosha Viveka, Shreya Preya Viveka, the path of the pleasant and the path of the good. Druk Drushya Viveka, Gunatraya Viveka, to point us in the direction of that Atma Vastu, that Sat Vastu. Because Atindriya Vishaye Vedaha Pramanam. That Pramana Buddhi in the Shastras. We need to have that Shraddha in the scriptures and the Guru Vakya. Then Brahmasmiti Vibhavyatam. This is the Gnana Abhyasa. Nirantara Abhyasa. Constant abidance. How can I be constantly in that awareness? Giving thoughts like Aham Asamsari Atma Asmi. Naham Dehosmi. That kind of abidance. No wavering. How? Aharahar Garva Parityajyatam. A lot of times at this stage, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji knows the pride kicks in. And he's saying, renounce that pride. So our Mahavakya in this phase is, ego is not my amigo. I have to let it go. We saw that in the last class, a good reference from Bhaja Govindam, Ma Kuru Dhana Jana Yavana Garbam Harati Nimeshat Kalaha Sarvam. Ma Kuru Garvam. Do not have this false pride in what? Dhana, Jana, Yavana. The possessions, people, youthfulness, Yavana. Because Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji is warning, Kalaha, time, Sarvam Nimeshat Harati. In a moment, it takes away everything. All can be gone. Aharaha. He knows we cannot just cold turkey give it up once and for all. Slowly but surely give it up. Dehe aham matirujyatam. Slowly we need to get rid of that I notion, that I am this body. Body is meant for serving everybody. Paropakarartam idam shariram. Not self-preservation. Buddha janair vadaf parityajyatam. A very, very important advice. As sadhakas, we need to realize that these Mahatmas are very compassionate people. They themselves are not gaining anything by teaching us this highest knowledge. We should not engage in meaningless arguments with them. With that, let's go to verse number 4. Today, we will cover these 8 instructions. Kshudvyadischa chikitsyatam. Pratidinam bhikshaushadam bhujyatam. Swadvannam natu yachyatam vidhivashat praptena santushyatam. Shitoshnadi vishahyatam natu vrutha vakyam samucharyatam. Audasinyam abhipsyatam janakrupa naishturyam utsrujyatam. One more time. Kshudvyadischa chikitsyatam pratidinam bhikshaushadam bhujyatam swadvannam natu yachyatam vidhivashat praptena santushyatam. Shitoshnadi vishahyatam natu vrutha vakyam samucharyatam audasinyam abhipsyatam janakrupa naishturyam. Beautiful set of instructions. Shud vyadhischa chikitsyatam. See, most of our life we spend on two things. Shud pipasa, hunger and thirst. It is interesting to note here that Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji calls the pangs of hunger as a chronic disease. Dis-ease. With any dis-ease, we are not at ease. With any disease, they say prevention is better than cure. Just like we take the medicine to cure a disease, this is incurable disease. Chronic. So we have to maintain it. Just like diabetes. They say maintain the sugar levels. Disease management. So hunger is not an occasion to enjoy food. In our tradition, what do? We say, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagnau Brahmanahutam Brahmaivatena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. We say the prayer of grace and thank the Lord before we eat. We say this as our grace. We say Om Pranaya Swaha, Om Apanaya Swaha, Om Vyanaya Swaha, Om Udanaya Swaha, Om Samanaya Swaha. To make sure that the food we are consuming is providing the necessary sustenance through the physiological functions. A lot of teenagers, they ask me, Uncle, why don't we have a grace prayer in our religion? This is our grace prayer. The offerer is divine. The offering is divine. The offer to is divine. The whole purpose is divine. What else can be more graceful? The most important aspect of it is that even at the time of enjoyment, we remember the Lord. Tera tujhko arpan. I offer to you what is yours. So in this instruction, Very important to note, treat food not as bhoga, but to treat it as roga, to satisfy the roga. How? Pratidinam bhikshaushadam bhujyatam. We need to take care of the pangs of hunger, that roga, through bhiksha aushada, medicine of the bhiksha food. Although many may say this is mainly for a sannyasi or a brahmachari. You know, in our tradition, a sannyasi is supposed to eat food, only that food, pratidinam, gathered from 5 houses. We also saw in Bhajagovindam, Karatala Karaprishtabhyam, whatever I get in the palms of my 2 hands, I will eat. But what about householders like us, grihasthas? Whatever comes unasked as his prasada. Remember, he said pratidinam, daily. We already eat at least 3 to 4 meals a day. The idea here with this instruction is not to engage in an elaborate planning of what to eat, where to eat, when to eat, all that. The idea is to get away from the thought of food, about food, and to turn it into food for thought. Swadvannam natu yachyatam. See, the earlier idea here again is re-emphasized, meaning not to beg for enjoyment. You know, during our studies at the Sandipini, a lot of young brahmacharis, you know, they are all between 18, 19 and early 20s. When the Amma is there, what do? They say, Amma, today is my birthday. Some sweets would be nice. Why brahmachari? Some swamis also engage in this type of bhoga. They will ask privately, you know, your wife can make some bisibelebath for bhiksha. It'll be a good change for me from my bland food. Like they say, jite rasanam, jite sarvam. If we win over the power of the tongue is a dual instrument, power of speech and the power of the taste. Jihva chapalya. If we can win over that, that is the toughest battle. Swadvannam nachu yachyatam. How are we supposed to live? Vidhi vashat praptena santushyatam. Vidhi vashat praptena. without any expectation. How Bhagavan is taking care of all of the creatures, animals in this creation. He makes sure they get their food. In Bhagavad Gita, there is a mention of this yogi. He is happy with whatever comes unasked. He is contented. Yadrucha labha santushtaha dvandvatito vimatsaraha samah siddhava siddhau cha krutvapi na nibadyate. Then comes the endurance. Shitoshnadi vishashyatam. This is sahishnutva. Endurance. Titiksha. Enduring the pairs of opposites. How? Quietly, not by lamenting about it, quietly enduring it. Like they say, what you cannot cure, you have to endure. This whole world, they say, is full of pairs of opposites. Sarvam dvandvatmakam jagat. What sort of dvandva? Shita Vushna. Now hot summer is over. Now cold season will begin. Heat and cold. Somebody sometimes will praise you. Mana, sammana. Somebody will criticize you. Apamana. Sometimes there is sukha, pleasantness, conducive. Sometimes there is dukkha, unpleasantness, non-conducive situations. What is he saying? Shitoshnadi vishahyatam. This is dvandva sahishnutva. So we endure this type of pairs of opposites. Srimad Bhagavad Gita in 2nd chapter says, Samatvam yoga uchyate. There is this sinusoidal wave, and if you draw a normal distribution, that is samatvam. Natu vrutha vakyam samucharyatam. This is a very, very important. Avoid wasteful talk. Most of the time, when we meet, in addition to solving all the world problems, what do? We engage in gossip. I call it PNPS. Paraninda, Paracharcha. Always we talk about somebody who is not present. There is one shloka. Lakshmir vasati jihvagre, jihvagre mitra bandhavaha, Jihvagre bandhanam praptam. Jihvagre maranam dhruvam. On the tip of our tongue, there is Goddess Lakshmi. There are our relatives and friends. There is bondage and death in a conversation. Mainly, suggestion here, na vrutha vakyam samucharyatam. Minimal talk, dissipation of energy. In an organization, what do we do to improve the efficiency? We avoid and minimize waste. This advice is about being efficient. Sadhaka should avoid dissipation of energy through wasteful, meaningless conversations. Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, calls it in 17th chapter, Vangmaya Tapas. Unnecessary speech causes a lot of our problems. Idle talk. Generally, it is on 4 main topics. When we gather, either it is women or any opposite sex, wealth, pleasures, or our enemies. When we meet, these are generally the subjects that we talk about. What does it do? It distracts us from the spiritual path. It causes that emotional imbalance. It derails sadhaka's spiritual journey. So how do we need to live? Audasinyam abhipsyatam. Udasina. See, there are millions of things happening all around us. We live in a world of 24/7 cable news, social media, WhatsApp and other apps, and whatnot. We have smartphones, but not smart enough to know when to shut it down. Here, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji is saying to be indifferent to the worldly affairs that are going on. Udasina, meaning raising above all these type of happenings. It is also advised, generally advised for any spiritual institution, spiritual sadhaka, not to engage or not to have any political affiliations. Because Jana Krupa Naishturyam Utsrujyatam. Jana Krupa. Save yourself, Bhagavan says, from people's kindness. Don't fall into the obligations of people. Within Chinmaya mission, we say in our pledge, producing more than you consume, giving more than you take. What a powerful pledge. Very important advice for sadhaka, not to ask for favors from people. Janakrupa naisturyam. When you are on this path, people respect you because it's not easy. Not everybody wants to do. And different people show different ways of affection. Here, the advice from Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji is to stay away from getting yourself entangled in any sort of obligation. Our Puja Gurudev always used to say, make the world indebted to you rather than you be indebted to the world. My late father always used to say, when you receive, the hand is always lower. When you give, you have the upper hand, he would say. I want to end today's lecture with a shloka, with a verse from Bhagavad Gita, which kind of summarizes the instruction from the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Tulya ninda stutir mauni santushto yena kenachit aniketa stiramatihi bhaktiman me priyo naraha. The one who is samatva, who has exhibited samatva in praise and criticism, ninda and stuti, he is happy. Santushta, in whatever comes unasked, he is aniketa, he is equipoised. That kind of devotee, Bhagavan Krishna says, he is favorite to me. So today, let us strive to become Bhagavan Krishna's favorite. With that, I will end today's session. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Asato Va Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrutyorma Amrutam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat. With that, I'll open it up for question and answers and